Okay. So guys, just a quick check. Working right? Everything fine? Both the screen and audio. Just let me know.
Yes, fine.
Yes,
Okay.
fine.
Okay, let's start. So hello everyone. So welcome to the today's session. So today we are going to discuss about the basic and the JavaScript DOM manipulations. So as I told earlier in the JavaScript workshop, DOM is the important concept in JavaScript. If you want to build websites or to add interactivity to any website, you must know about these DOM manipulations. So that's why today we are going to discuss how you can use JavaScript and integrate to build interactive websites, right? So today let's just a couple of minutes. It's like everyone is up. Cool. So now what I will do is I will just create an empty HTML file. Sorry, I will first let me give you a brief introduction to JavaScript again, just to recall. So we'll save this file as index.js. Cool. Okay. Now what I will do is just a brief JavaScript introduction. So to create, what is the syntax? Let equals to, right? And to create
వాయిస్ డిస్టర్బెన్స్ వస్తుంది, వాయిస్ బ్రేక్ అవుతుంది.
guys, is the audio breaking? Okay. So now to create functions, the syntax is function name, arguments, and the code that need to be executed, right? So these are the maybe how to create variables and how to create functions in JavaScript. Cool. So that's it. Don't worry about JavaScript. If you have any queries, meanwhile, I will repeat the JavaScript concepts. Okay, don't worry about that. So now our primary concept right now is to learn about how you can use JavaScript DOM to control the way how a website works, right? Okay. So now what I will do is I will create a project. I will create a folder on my desktop. I will open this folder on my VS Code. So now, as you can see, the project is empty. Now I will create the index.html file. So as I told earlier, you can just get the snippet using Emmet extension. Simply press the exclamation mark and hit enter. That's it. It will generate all the boilerplate code. So let's check whether it's working or not. So hello world. I will save this file and I will open this file in browser. As you can see, we got hello world. Clear till now? So what we have done till now is we simply created the HTML file and we displayed it on the browser. So now like what I will do is I will create a split screen so that you can see it better. Simply. Okay, guys. So the left thing is my VS Code, and the right thing is the browser. Whatever I do here will be translated to the browser, right? So whenever you got any disturbance or anything, please let me know so that I can correct. So now what I will do is, so now I will create another HTML file, or instead I can use here. So now let's see how you can use the DOM model. So I don't, if you see me, watch my earlier videos, you can know about this DOM, right? So without wasting any time, let's directly jump into what is DOM and all those things. So as I told earlier, um, so the entire page on the browser is called as a document in JavaScript, which means if you want to access any element in the browser or in the page that we are seeing currently, it will be inside this document object, right? So document is an object. It consists of all the tags and all the elements that we used in the website, right? So to access any element uh, in the browser or in the web page, what we need to use? We need to get it from the document object. So objects are a thing in JavaScript, right? Every one of you know. So now what I will do is I will create a h1 tag, guys, right? So the hello guys has been displayed over here. So now what I will do is, so the hello guys has been displayed. So now to access any element, so all this thing inside this body tag will be the plain HTML, right? So now if you want to write any JavaScript code inside the HTML file, you need to use the script tag, right? So whatever you write between the script tag will be the JavaScript code to that page. So now what I will do is I'll simply print console.log hello. So now to check this, what I need to do, I need to click the inspect button and I need to head over to console. So as you can see, we got hello. So if I change this to hello world, so got hello world. So do keep in mind the JavaScript code will be executed inside the console. Okay, it won't be displayed to the user. So the thing that is displayed to the user will be the HTML code, which is inside the body tag, right? So clear till now? Nice. Okay. So now what I will do is I will show you some of the methods which you can use in order to access the HTML elements from the page, right? So if you want to access this hello guys text, which is a h1 tag, right? So I need to give it an ID. I will give it an ID as title. And what you can do is you can directly get the access these tags and elements in your JavaScript code. How we can do that? It's very simple. So now first I will create a variable, let title. Title equals to, as I told earlier, in order to access any of the HTML element or any of the text, you need to call it using the document. So document. So what is the text that I need to access? Hello guys, which is a h1 tag. Now, in order to get this tag, I gave it a unique ID, right? So we can get this entire tag with the help of this ID using a method called document.getElementById. What is the ID that I need to use? Title, right? So that's it. So now the HTML tag h1, which is hello guys, is in the title variable, right? So now what you can do is simply console.log title.innerText. So what it essentially do is it will console log the tag text. What is the text inside the h1 tag? Hello guys. So let's see it. So when you click the inspect button and go to console, what is the thing that it displayed? Hello guys, right? So if I now let's see. If I change the HTML to hello guy, I replace the hello guys to hello. Now let's see what will happen. So what it displayed? Hello. So if the HTML changes, automatically the element also changes. Why? Because we are accessing the value from HTML code, right? So inner text is a method which is used to get the text from a HTML element. So title is the variable which holds the h1 tag. So we need to print the text which is inside the HTML text. So that's why I used a method called inner text, right? So that is one way of accessing things. So now take an instance, if you have instead of ID you have something class, right? So now to access the elements with the help of the class names, you need to use another method called get elements by class name. If you observe carefully, there are two methods: get element by ID. One method is get elements by, and the other method is get elements by class name. If you observe carefully, this method is singular, which means if you use this get element by ID, you can only access one method at one tag at a time. Which means if you want, only you can access only one thing from the entire web page. Like only you can access the h1 tag, or only you can access the p tag, like that. But if you use this get elements by class name, which is a plural, you can access multiple things at the same time. Take an instance, we have another tag, hello, hello 2. Oops. So these are the two HTML tags that I used in my web page, hello and hello 2. So now both has the same class name, right? So title and title. So if you use this thing, title equal to document.get elements by class name title, what it will do is it will access both these tags, right? Let's see what will happen. Let's console log the title object. You can understand it better. So now I will console, oops, inspect and go to console. So as you can see, it displayed a HTML collection. What is its length? 2. Why it is 2? Because we have two HTML tags with the same class name called title. So if I open this, you can see a h1 tag with class title and another h1 tag with class title, right? So this is how it works, right? So this is another method, get elements by class name. So what are the two methods till now we discussed? The first one is get element by ID, and the second one is get elements by class name. So clear till now? Guys, if you have any queries or anything, uh, please text it in the official groups, right? We have groups, right? Please text in the community so that I can see and answer. Like if you can't unable to chat in the Teams app, right?
Okay.
Cool. Okay. Now let's go into the next one. So just a brief recap. Till now we discussed get element by ID, and the second one is get elements by class name. So get element by ID is used to access a single element. Why? Because the ID cannot be repeated for multiple HTML tags, right? But if we use the class, we can use the same class for multiple tags, right? So that's why we need to use get elements by class name. So clear till now how you can access HTML elements in JavaScript. Please let me know in the community group. I'm looking it quick. So clear how you can access the HTML elements inside of the JavaScript, which is a script tag, right? Great. So now I will show you a small trick. So this method is very very clumsy, right? Get element by ID, get element by class name, and one more method I forgot. So you can directly access the HTML elements with the help of the method. So now if you want to access all the h1 tags, what you need to do is get elements by tag name. So what is the tag name that you need to access right now? H1. So simply keep it H1. So that's it. So if you now go into again inspect console, as you can see, it again returned a HTML collection of length 2. What are those two elements? H1 and H1, right? Now let's see. I will change this H1 to H2. So now let's see. So now how many items it returned? Only one collection, only one item, right? Why? Because we only have one HTML tag, right? Understood? So these are the three important methods, right? So the first one is get element by ID, and the second method is get elements by class name, and the third one is get elements by tag name, right? So these are the fundamental three methods that you can use in order to access the DOM elements. So now let me show you a brief, not trick, but the modern way of doing these things. So now this is very painful, right? So in order to access with ID, you need to use this method. In order to get the elements with the help of class name, you need this method, or tag name this method. But there is a single method you can use for all HTML tags. So now I will show that. So observe this carefully. This is the modern way of doing things. So now observe this carefully. So I have a h1 tag with an ID title, and I have a h2 of class title. Right? I have a h1 tag with ID of title, and I have a h2 tag with class subtitle. So now what is the previous way of doing things? If I want to if I want to access this h1 tag in script, what is the method that I will use? Let me know in our community. If I want to access this h1 tag inside the JavaScript, what is the method that I will use? Get. If I want to access this h1 tag,
Get element by ID.
get element by ID. Good. So now if I want to access this h2 tag, what is the method that I will use?
Get element by class.
Get element by class.
Element or elements?
Element.
Elements, okay, it is a plural because we can have multiple names, multiple HTML tags with same class name, right? Even if we only have one class, the method won't change. Get elements by class name. So fine. So now we can reduce
Money.
this code.
Money.
Sorry.
Money.
Guys, please, I will have a doubt session later. Please don't disturb in the meanwhile because I have so much to continue. So if you have any doubts, let me know in the chat so that I can remember and answer it later. So now in the script tag, so now I can simply use a method called query selector to access the elements, HTML elements. So now I will show you how to do that. So let title. So if I want to access this h1 tag, we previously used a method called get element by ID. But with the help of this new method, what we can do is simply title equal to document dot new method called query selector. So remember this thing. You can access any HTML element inside the browser using this method called as query selector. So now let's see how you can access the h1 tag. So here comes the tricky part. So inside the quotations, so now tell me, we are accessing the element h1, which has ID or class. It has ID, right? So in CSS, uh, in CSS, what is the shape? Sorry, what is the symbol that we use to style ID elements? What is the symbol that we use to style with the help of ID?
Hash.
I'm looking in the community group. Guys, don't speak out. Just let me know in the community group. I will wait, no problem. So the symbol we use to style ID elements is hash, right? So hash ID name so that we can style. So query selector works this way. We need to access with the help of CSS class selectors, right? So we are accessing the h1 tag, which has an ID. So in order to access this h1 element, what you need to do is place a hash and what is the ID title. So that's it. So console.log. Title. That's it. I will inspect this file and let's see what we have. Oops. So what we got? We got the. Do you guys understand what it did? It is simply returned the complete HTML tag, right? So if I want to print the text inside this tag, what is the method that I need to use? Dot inner text. So what is the thing that it print? Hello, right? Everyone understood? Please be active in the chat in the community group, okay? No problem. I can understand you need to switch the apps, but no problem. I will wait. So this is how we access a query element with the help of ID. So now you tell me, how can I access this h2 tag using query selector? The method won't change, okay? As I told earlier, the method won't change. Only the argument will be changed. Now tell me, what is the argument that I need to pass in order to access this h2 tag? Exactly. So what I need to do, we have what it has. It has ID or class. It has class name. So in CSS, what is the symbol that we use in order to access class names? We use a dot, right? So dot subtitle. Awesome. Let's see what will happen. So the output should be hello2, and it is hello2. Great. So which method is good, query selector or get elements method? So obviously query selector is more powerful. So don't worry guys. Okay. So looks like a lot of you folks have doubt in this hash and dot. So which indicates you haven't watched the HTML class, right? So that's why I will just show you again. Don't think it again. So to style an element with the help of its ID name, this is CSS. So this hello has an ID of title. In order to style this element with the help of ID, I need to use a hash. So hash title font size equal to 30 pixels. So okay, let me do it 100 pixels. So as you can see, the element, the font of this hello has been increased. So if I want to change the styling of h2 tag, which has a class name, what I need to use? Not hash title, class name. This is a class name. So dot. So now what happened? The size of hello2 has been increased, right? Because we are changing the style of h2 tag, right? So this is CSS. Please watch the basics. That's why, no problem. So now I will repeat again. If you want to access the if you want to style the HTML elements with the help of its ID, what is the method that you need to use? Sorry, what is the symbol that you need to use? Hash for the dot. Right? So do keep this in mind. So everyone understood about query selector? Looking at the chart, everyone understood about this query selector, how you can access the HTML elements inside the JavaScript code with the help of query selector method, right? So you can do it in multiple ways. You can also use get element by ID or get element by class, but this is more elegant way of doing things, right? So now we have another problem with the query selector. So now let's have the same case we have. We have multiple elements with the same class name, right? Now we have multiple elements with the class title. What is the method previously we used in order to access both the elements? We used a method called get elements by class name, right? So now we are using query selector. So that's why we need to use this dot. So dot, what is the class name? Title. I will console log title. So now the question is, everyone of you need to answer this in the chat. So now the question is, how many children or what is the length of this title now? how many elements will be stored in this title variable? Document dot query selector dot title. How many HTML tags? How many child tags do title contain? So every one of you are answering 2, right? So let's check the answer. Oops. What it returned? It only returned one thing, only one tag, right? What happened? But we need, how many tags we are expecting? We are expecting 2 because 2 tags have the same class name, but query selector only returned a single tag. So this is a new concept again. So query selector method is singular, which means it only returns the first method, which means h1 is first or h2 is first. H1 is first. So it completely ignores the remaining tags because it already got. So if you want to access multiple tags with the same class name, we need to use a new method called get query selector document dot query selector all. So if you suffix this all, it will become a plural. So if you can see, it returned 2. So h1 dot title, h2 dot title. So clear? So to access a single element from the HTML body, what is the method you can use? Query selector. If you want to access the multiple elements, what is the method that you need to use? Query selector all. So guys, everyone understood about this? Please let me know quickly. Query selector and query selector all. I will write it over here, so observe this carefully. The first one we discussed is we need to understand these concepts in order to do any project. Get elements, right? The third method is get elements by. Fourth one is selector. And the fifth one is so everyone understood till now? Yeah, please wait. I'm taking a screenshot so that I can use it for attendance. Right? Guys, is there any issue with my audio and video? Some people complain.
Audio is a bit faster than the video.
Okay, audio is getting earlier. Okay. Okay, looks like a problem with Meet. So please wait. Okay, now everything is fine. I'm not writing anything. I just wrote 5 methods. Right? Clear? Till now? Everything is settled.
Yeah. Yes, bro.
Okay. Okay, let's continue again. So these are the 5 methods you can use in order to access HTML elements in JavaScript code. Fine. So, okay. You can directly access the tag names as well. If you want to access this h1 tag, you can simply do it as query selector all h1. No need to use dot or hash. Why? Because this is directly HTML tag, right? So you can use the same method to access any element in the HTML. So try to use this query selector, okay? So if you want to access a single element, use query selector. If you want to access multiple elements, use query selector all. Good. So now enough about these brief introductions. Now let's see how you can create elements, HTML elements with the help of JavaScript. right? So now tell me how many, so guys, you can, any one of you or anything, you can unmute yourself and answer to the questions, okay? Now tell me how many HTML tags do we have currently in my web page? How many HTML tags do I have currently in my web page? No one?
అరే 7 రా.
7. How many tags we
Right.
have? We have 2 HTML tags, H1 and H2, right? So now let's see how you can add new HTML tags from JavaScript code. So in order to access, to create new elements, so document dot get element. So what is that? So it takes a parameter. What is the parameter is the tag that you want to create. For example, I want to create a h3 tag. So document dot create element h3, right? I will store this in a variable. Let h3 equal to document dot create element h3. So now let's see. So if I go into elements, okay, let me do one thing. I will remove these comments. Okay, it's looks like people are confusing with the comments. So those are comments. Please ignore them. So now what I did is I created a new HTML element directly from the JavaScript code. Let h3 equal to document dot create element h3. But if you can observe in the code part, we only have 2 tags, right? There is no h3 anywhere, right? So what you need to do is you need to append this element to the. Now tell me if you have. Now let me ask a question. What is the name of the entire screen in CSS? Or what is the name of the screen in HTML?
Body.
Right? So body. So please wait. Oops. Guys, just a couple of minutes. Looks like my internet is broken. Okay. I'm back. So now, to do the thing, to add new elements to the HTML, what you need to do is you need to get the access to the body first. So let body equal to document dot body, right? So now, so I have the entire body inside this body variable, and the new tag that we created is h3. So now what I want to do, I want to add this h3 tag to the body. So how you can do that is body dot append h3. So if you can see now, h1, h2, and we got h3 or not? We got h3, right? So now I will change this to let us add a p tag. So create element p. So if you can observe the body, now you can see h1 tag, h2 tag, and we also got a p tag. That's clear how you can add new HTML elements directly from the JavaScript code. What is the method that you need to use? Create element, and you need to append it to the body. Clear till now? So if these things are clear to you, let's move on with the projects. Let's start doing the basic app. So till now, any queries, anyone? How you can access the elements, how you can add new elements to the HTML tags, all those things. Let me know in the chat. I'm looking at the chat. If you have any queries, post in the chat.
సింటాక్స్ క్రియేట్ ఎలిమెంట్ ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ చెప్పవా ఒకసారి?
So in order to add new elements to the HTML web page, first of all you need to get the access to the body, right? So that's why let body equal to document dot body. So now we have the entire access to the body in this body variable. So if you want to add any new elements to the HTML, you need to append it to the body. So that's why first of all you need to create the new element which you want. For example, I want to create a h3 tag. Let h3 equal to, you can give whatever name you want, like my new element else document dot create element.
ఇగో కనెక్ట్ చేసిన
Guys,
సౌండ్ బయట
please mute. So now the first argument it takes is the tag that you want to do. If I want to create a p tag, I will place p over here, and that's it. So now you need to append this my new element to body. So body dot append my new element. That's it. So this is how you can create and add new elements to your body. So now let's start with doing some websites. Good. Okay. So now, okay, what I will do is, so now if I am writing this entire JavaScript code as well as HTML code in one page in one file, it would be looks like a lot of mess, right? So that's why okay, no problem. For this example, I will do it here. In the next example, let's create separate files for both. Okay, let's start with doing this project. Okay, so now okay, now I have a empty HTML file, right? Are you able to see anything to the right side? Guys, forgot to ask, is the issue settled right now? The delay in the voice and audio, I mean the delay between audio and video, is it fixed? Get. Okay, no problem. Okay, what I will do is, okay, we have a empty project, empty HTML file. So now let's start doing what is the first project that we are going to build? Okay, let's do one thing. Let's add two numbers. Not fixed. Oh my God. Still, people are facing latency. Don't know what happened. Okay. This looks like your internet has issues, or you are using Teams app in web. That might be the issue. If you use Teams app, it would be fine, I guess. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so now what is the website that we are going to do right now? Okay, let's do this thing. Okay, let's have an input tag and two input tags and a button and one more tag to display the result. Let's add two numbers. Okay, so now what is the first thing that you need to do? I need to have two input tags. Right? So number one and number two, and a button as well. Whenever I press this button, so number one, number two, when I press this button, enter, add, I need to get the result, right? I need to display the result. Okay, this is the basic thing that we can do, right? Okay. So now what I will do is I will an ID. I will place the name as ID equal to number one, and for this tag I will write it as ID equal to number two. I guess you already know the ID must be unique to each and every HTML element, okay? And for the button tag, ID equal to add button. So let's do this thing. So now you are going to tell me. So okay, first of all, what is the thing that I need to do? How many variables should I need to create? Let number one, number two, and number three. This is plain JavaScript code, okay? So now tell me, what will be, uh, what is the value that I need to store in number one? What is the value I need to store in number one? Uh, I number one ID or number two ID? I need to store these. Okay, let me do one more thing. I forgot. So whenever the user click this add button, I need to get these two values and print the result, right? So that's why I will create a function add, right? So function add. So now let's do this thing. So what will be the value of n1? How you can access this input tag? Anyone of you can tell me how you can access this input tag? Just I told a couple of moments back. How you can access this first input tag?
Document dot get
Document
element
dot
by in get element by
so
ID
get element by, you can use get element by ID, but
or
what
query
is the other
selector.
thing that in query selector? Okay,
Query selector dot
exactly.
hash num1.
So now hash, very good. So hash num1. Why? Because the num1 is not a class, it is ID, right? So now we got the access to this HTML tag. Fine. But I don't need the access to this HTML tag. What I want the value which is inside the input tag, right? So that's what is the method that I need to use? Dot value, right? So the same thing applies to n2 as well. So here I need to replace it with num2. Right? So now what will be the value of n3? n1 plus n2. So now tell me, I need to display this result in a h1 tag. What I want? I want to display this result where I want to display the result in a h1 tag. So now, but I have only three tags, right? So now I want to create a new tag to display this result. Okay, I will create a new HTML tag to display the result. So that's why what I want to do. First of all, I need to get the access to the body. So document dot body. What I want to do, I need to create a new HTML tag for this result. Let's create a h1 tag, okay? Let result equal to document. What is the method that I need to use in order to create new HTML tags? Create
element.
element. So what is the element? What is the tag element h1? So now, uh, let's see. If you can observe the previous example, it will create an empty, right? The tag will be empty, but we don't want the empty tag to be displayed. What we want, what is the value that we want to display inside this result tag? n3, right? So the method result dot inner text will be and the final thing that I want to do is I need to append this result tag to this body. So body append result. Don't worry, I will repeat it again. But we write all this code inside a function. So when we want to run this function, whenever the user clicks this button. So that's why on click equal to add function call. So let's check whether it's working or not. 10, 20, Oh my God. What is the thing that we got? HTML heading element. Nice. So which indicates this thing is not correct, I guess. Inner text equal to result. Okay, let's go into this inspect button. Okay, there you go. The h1 tag is created, but the value is not appending properly, right? So let's do one thing. Before doing anything, let's just check whether it's working or not. So console.log. M3, right? Okay. So let's move on to the console. So the number 1 will be 10, number 2 will be, and what is the thing that we got? 1020. Cool, okay. So if you attended my JavaScript workshop, I have told this earlier. JavaScript by default treats everything as a string. So we need to manually convert it into integer. So parse int of n1. We're getting the integer value from the string. Well, let's look. 10 and 20. So now we got the output or not? What is the output that we got? 30. But it is being displayed inside the console. But what I want to create a new tag, right? So how you can do that is very simple. Let's do this way. So now I will show you shortcut. So body, oops. First of all, I got the access to the body. Now what I want to do is body dot append m3. I will directly append this value. Let's see whether it's working or not. So what we got? We got 30. Let's check it again. Guys, is it working or not? So you can directly append strings to your body as well. By default, it will create a paragraph tags. Let's again one more thing. 345 and 123. 468. Good. Understood, everyone? How you are accessing the elements, how I'm doing these operations, and how I'm adding new elements. Right? So now let's what I will do is, guys, any doubts, any queries in this one? How I accessed all the elements and anything?
Syntax?
Yeah. Yes. Speak out.
ఆల్ఫాబెట్ ప్లేస్ అదే నెంబర్ ప్లేస్ లో ఆల్ఫాబెట్ ఇస్తే ఆస్కీ వాల్యూ తీసుకుంటారా?
Here. Who will enter the alphabet and when we're doing an addition of two numbers, right? Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God. Don't ask like these questions, please. Okay, let's move on. Okay, now let's build a calculator, right? We'll erase everything. Okay, fine. So guys, now observe this carefully. This is a big project. I mean, it will have a lot of things that you can learn. So now tell me, what are the operations that we will have in a calculator? What are the operations that we will have in a calculator?
Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division.
Subtraction, multiplication, division, right? And let's do this thing. I will open my calculator in this. So instead of doing this, let's build this layout as well. Okay, let's keep buttons, inputs, and all those things. So first, what I will do is I will create the number pad. Okay, how many numbers we will have from 1 to 0, right? So I will create a div tag. I will add a button. On how many numbers that we will have in a calculator? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, as well as 0. And what are the other things that we will have in a calculator? The buttons, right? The plus,
Equal.
minus, multiplication, and division. So these are the things. Okay, I forgot the main one. What is the main one that I forgot? Main button that I forgot. What is the main button?
Equals to.
Exactly. Equals to.
Equals.
Okay, so now it's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And okay, but it is no way looking like a calculator, right? Is it looking like a calculator? It is looking like a stack. So I will apply some styling. So I will create a class for this. Class number pad. Okay. Okay. In order to style this element, I will create a style tag. Okay. So now in order to style this number pad, what is the symbol that I need to use? Dot or hash? Number pad is a class name. So that's what is the symbol that I need to use? Dot
Dot symbol.
number pad. Okay. So now here comes the CSS, the hardest thing on the planet. So in order to arrange these elements like a box, I will display grid. Okay. Now as you can see, all these buttons are aligned one by one. So now tell me how many columns that we want. How many buttons? First of all, tell me how many buttons do we have? Count this. How many buttons do we have?
15.
15. So we have how many buttons? 15 buttons. Okay, let's do one more thing. Let's add another one more button and let's name it as clear. Okay, now how many buttons? A total of 16. Okay, so now tell me how you can create a box, how many columns and how many rows, so that you can align it properly. How many rows and how many columns? Exactly. So now whenever we use this grid as a display, we have something called as grid template columns, where you can specify the size of each column. So now tell me, we have 100% of width and we want 4 columns. So what will be the width for each column?
25.
Exactly.
25.
So 25%, 25%, 25%, and 25%. So whenever I save this, observe this website. What happened? Wow. Got the calculator shape or not? We got the calculator shape or not? Just with a 2 lines of CSS. Awesome, right? So this is the magic of CSS. Very hard, but very effective as well. So now I will do one more thing. I will align all the items to center. Okay. Cool. Do I forgot anything? Oh my god. However you go, the size will remain same. 4 rows and 4 columns. So very powerful CSS grid. Okay. So now let's do a thing. Okay. So the buttons part is completed, right? I mean the UI part, the buttons is completed. So what else do we want in the HTML part? What else do we want? Hmm? What else?
Operation. Actions. Operation.
Operations. We have these buttons for operations as well. So we need to display the output, right? Somewhere. So that's why, okay, let me do one thing. I will open this calculator. Let's replicate this layout. So okay, 9. So we have an number over here which is changing accordingly. So observe this carefully. We need to have a shape in a tag over here to indicate the user entered value, and finally we need to display the output for a in a tag. So we need to create two new tags above this number tag. So I will create another div tag separately, and I will display it as uh, guys, don't worry, the session will be recorded. If you have any queries, you can watch it later. But don't leave result, and the result will be somewhat bigger, right? So I will place a H1 tag. So now everyone understood. So whenever I press these values, for example, 1 plus 2, here 1 plus 2 will be displayed. And what is the value of 1 plus 2? 3. So 3 will be displayed over here. So that is what we are building, right? So that's what we are going to do right now. So the layout is completed. Till now, anyone have any queries? The UI part has been completed. Now the main part is to tackle this thing. We need to integrate JavaScript. No queries? Let's start doing some JavaScript. So first of all, what I will do is, how many variables do I want? 3 variables. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. So now I will write a function get value. So what this function will do is, for example, let's assume the user has clicked this 9 button. Okay. So what is the value that I want to read? 9, right? So that's why, for example, I will add an on click to this function. So on click. Get value of 1. Alert of n. Just checking. So let's see. Whenever the user clicks this one, so what the alert will be displayed? 1, right? Do you got what I'm telling? Whenever this user is clicking this button, I'm calling this function. What is this function? It simply alerts the value inside the button, right? So now what I want to do, I need to add this function to all these buttons. So that's why I will do it multi-cursor typing. Guys, meanwhile, if you have any queries, ask me right now. I will try to resolve. Okay. At value. So now tell me, if the user, oh my god, I erased the 2 button. And 3 here. So now tell me, whenever the user presses this button 2, what is the value that I need to send as an argument? What is the value that I need to send as an argument? Guys, are you there? Whenever the user enters this button, clicks this button 2, what is the value that I need to send?
2.
What is
2.
Whenever the user clicks this 3, the value that I need to send is 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. This will be a string, right? So in quotations. My god. What is this? If it is happening. Okay, okay, forgot the closing time. Okay, whenever the user clicks this plus, I need to send this plus, which will be enclosed in quotes. Oh my god, this code is clean. My god, it's so awful. I don't know what is happening over here. Let's do one thing. Again, it's still showing error. Okay, so whenever the user clicks this plus button, I will give it a code as 11. So 11 indicates plus, 12 indicates, 11 indicates plus, 12 indicates minus, 13 indicates star, 14 indicates division. Oh, I forgot for this. Get value of okay, and finally 15, sorry, and finally 16 indicates the clear all button. Guys, clear what I have did now. So I attached an on-click listeners to all buttons. So whenever the user enters this one, let's check. What is the alert that we got? 1. So 2. What is the alert value we got? 2. 3. 3 is equal to 15. Clear? 16. And 0 we got 0. 8. 8. So clear? అర్థమైందా? What I did, I simply attached a function to all these buttons. I simply passing a number indicating the value and I'm alerting that number. So fine, clear till now? Let's be quick, the time is getting over. Till now clear? Do you have any doubts? I simply attached a non-click listeners to all buttons. So now here the main task will do. So now whenever we are performing a calculation, we will have 3 parts, right? A number, for example, how the user enters in calculator 10 plus 20 and then he clicks this is equal to button. We need to show 30, right? So this is the part. So how many values we're going to read? We're going to read 4 values.
3.
Not 3. I mean 4 values. Why? Because 10 plus 20 as well as is equal to. So whenever the user clicks this is equal to button, I need to perform the operation and display the result. So that's why we need to read 4 values. So now let's check. So let's observe this carefully. As I told earlier, the n will be string by default. So I need to convert this into parse int of n is greater than or equal to 0 and int of n less than so if parse int of n, which means from this button onwards, okay, 0 button to how many buttons? 9. How many buttons we have? Numerical buttons. How many numerical buttons we have? How many digits we have? 0 to 9. So that's why we have 10, right? So whenever the user enters this thing, okay. Another thing, else if parse int of n is so operations buttons value. What are the values of operation buttons? Plus, minus, and star and is equal to plus, minus, star and division 11 to 14, right? So parse int of n is greater than 10 and less than how much? 15. So this condition, I will write it over here. For number. And this else if condition will be for operators. And we have one more one, else if. So let's check whether if the user presses the is equal to button. Else if percent of n, what is the value of is equal to? Are you able to see? Value of is equal to, what is the code that we gave to is equal to
15.
15. So if percent of n equal to 15, so we'll perform some action on it, right? So we divided this function into three parts, right? This is one part, and this is for operators, and this is for is equal to. So depending upon the action, we will perform the certain operation, right? So for example, if the user enters from 0 to 1, do you understand what I'm doing, guys? 10 plus 20, and he presses is equal to. Then we need to display 30. So this is the thing we need to do. So that's why I'm reading all these values. So now let's do one thing. And the statement will contains two parts, right? 10 plus 20. So this part contains, this is the left argument and this is the right argument, and there will be an operator symbol in between. So that's why what I will do is, if the value is between 0 and 10, I will change the n1, update the n1 value to n, sorry, parse int of n, right? Okay, so I'm reading the first argument. So now let's create another variable for operator. Fine. So now tell me, observe this carefully. This is the main logic. 10 plus 20 equals to 30. So if the user entered, let's do it for small case, 1 plus 2, okay? When the user entered 1, how can we say whether it is the first argument or it is the second argument? How can we find it anyway? What I'm asking is, when the user enters 1 plus 2, how can we find this as the left argument or this as right argument? So what I will do is, I will store this one value in n1 and this plus value in OP variable and this 2 value in n2 variable. Okay, so I will store this in n1 and it plus in OP and 2 in n2. Okay, so now let's do this thing. So now before assigning the value to n1, so this is the way we do it. If the operator is empty, if the operator variable is empty, what it means? The user haven't entered any operator. So that's why we need to store that value in n1, right? So we'll check this. If then I need to assign the user entered value to n1, right? What will be the else condition? If the operator variable is not null, the user has entered n1 as well as plus. So the latest value will be stored in n2. So n2 percent of n. Right? So till now, clear? So we are storing the values in n1. Yeah. Ask. quickly. Yeah, someone asking the question.
అనే ఇంతవరకు నీ వాయిస్ బ్రేక్ వచ్చిందనే ఒకసారి చెప్పవా ఇది?
Oh my god. Sorry guys, I can't repeat this again. Please watch the recorded video because it's very large. No problem. So now let's see for this operators one. So simply whenever the user is entering the operator, I need to assign this value to the operator, right? So now tell me, here comes another tricky part. So manam, what we do, we assigned codes to all these operators, right? 11 for plus, 12 for minus, 13 for star, and 14 for division. So now we need to assign this thing, right? So if let's do one thing, n equal to part of n, okay? So now let's check if n equals to 11, what will be the operator value? What is the operator symbol? If n equals to 11, what is the symbol that we need to use? What is the operation that user is trying to perform? Minus,
Subtraction.
11
plus
Addition.
plus. So OP will be equal to plus, right? Else if conditions, try to do. If n equal to 12, then user is trying to enter, what is the symbol that he is pressing? Minus, right? Okay. Else if the user is entering, if the user entered 13th button, what is the code to 13th button? What is the we assigned symbol for 13? Multiplication. And finally, else if n equal to 14, what will be the operator?
Division.
That's it. So till now, this if part ఏం చేస్తుంది? If part ఏం చేస్తుంది అంటే, I'm explaining this in Telugu one more time. సో ఈ if part దేనికోసం అంటే యూజర్ ఎంటర్ చేసిన వాల్యూస్ని స్టోర్ చేయడానికి. If the users enters anything from the 0 button to 1 button, I mean the digit numerical buttons, this if function will be triggered. Else యూజర్ అనేవాడు ప్లస్ కానీ మైనస్ కానీ స్టార్ కానీ డివిజన్ కానీ ప్రెస్ చేస్తే else if condition will be triggered. Okay, and finally యూజర్ అనేవాడు ప్లస్ క్లిక్ చేస్తే మనం ఇక్కడ లెట్స్ ఇఫ్ యూజర్ అనేవాడు ప్లస్ క్లిక్ చేసాడు అనుకోండి. సో నువ్వు అబ్జర్వ్ దిస్ కేర్ఫుల్లీ. మనం ఏదైనా ఎడిషన్ ఏదైనా క్యాలిక్యులేటర్లో పర్ఫామ్ చేసినప్పుడు మనకి ఎలా డిస్ప్లే అవుతుంది? Once open your calculators in your mobile, what I'm trying to replicate is open calculator in your mobile. So మీరు ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఫస్ట్ వీఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ టు డూ 1+2, ఓకే? సో మీరు 1+ చేసి తర్వాత ఏం ప్రెస్ చేస్తారు? గైస్ ట్రై టు ఇంటరాక్ట్ విత్ మీ ఫర్ 5 minutes. వీఆర్ ట్రైంగ్ టు అచీవ్ 1+2, ఓకే? సో వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఫస్ట్ బటన్ దట్ యూ విల్ ప్రెస్?
1.
సో నేను ఏం చేస్తానంటే ఆ వాల్యూని దేంట్లో స్టోర్ చేసుకుంటున్నాను? ఇన్ n1 వేరియబుల్. ఓకే, ఫస్ట్ నెంబర్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత ఏం ప్రెస్ చేస్తారు? ప్లస్. సో ప్లస్ అనేది మనకు ఆపరేటర్ సింబల్ కదా, సో దాన్ని దేంట్లో స్టోర్ చేస్తున్నాం? ఇన్ ఓపీ వేరియబుల్. నెక్స్ట్ ఆపరేటర్ ఎంటర్ చేసిన మళ్ళీ ఏం ఎంటర్ చేస్తారు? ఇంకో నెంబర్ ఎంటర్ చేస్తారు కదా, సో దాన్ని దేంట్లో స్టోర్ చేస్తాం? n2. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు చూడండి ఈ ఇఫ్ కండిషన్ మీరు చాలా మంది డౌట్ పడి ఉంటారు, ఒకసారి వినండి. సో ఇఫ్ కండిషన్ దేనికంటే యూజర్ అనేవాడు నంబర్ ఎన్ని టైమ్స్ ఎంటర్ చేస్తాడు? 2 times ఎంటర్ చేస్తాడు. ఆపరేటర్కి ముందు ఒకసారి, ఆపరేటర్కి తర్వాత ఒకసారి. సో ఆపరేటర్కి ముందు ఎంటర్ చేశాడా లేదా ఆపరేటర్ తర్వాత ఎంటర్ చేశాడని ఫైండ్ చేయడానికి ఇఫ్ ఆపరేటర్ అనేది నల్ ఉందనుకోండి, వాట్ ఇట్ ఇండికేట్స్? ఫస్ట్ నెంబర్ సెకండ్ నెంబర్ అన్న? ఆపరేటర్ ఇస్ నల్. ఫస్ట్ నెంబర్. వెరీ గుడ్. ఆపరేటర్ నాట్ నల్ ఉందనుకోండి, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఆపరేటర్ నాట్ నల్ ఉంది, దాని మీనింగ్ ఏంటి? ఈ 4 symbols లో ఏదో ఒక సింబల్ దేంట్లో ఉంది? ఓపీలో ఉంది, విచ్ ఇండికేట్స్ ద కరెంట్ వాల్యూ విల్ బి సెకండ్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్. సో సెకండ్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్ కాబట్టి దేంట్లో స్టోర్ చేయాలి? ఇన్ n2. ఫస్ట్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్ దేంట్లో? n1. ఓకే, అర్థమైందా ఇప్పుడు లాజిక్? ఓకే, అండ్ ఫైనల్లీ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు లాజిక్ దట్ ఈజ్. సో ఇప్పుడు మనకి n1 దేంట్లో ఉంటుంది, ఐ మీన్ సింబల్ దేంట్లో ఉంటుంది, అండ్ ఫస్ట్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్ n1లో, అండ్ సెకండ్ వన్ విల్ బి స్టోర్డ్ ఇన్ n2 కదా, అంతేనా? సో ఇప్పుడు సింపుల్, ఇఫ్ ఆపరేటర్ సింబల్ ప్లస్ అయింది అనుకోండి, దాని మీనింగ్ ఏంటి, మనం ఏం రిటర్న్ చేయాలి? వాట్ ఈస్ ద థింగ్ దట్ వీ నీడ్ టు డూ? అండ్ దట్ ఐ మీన్ సారీ, n3 వాల్యూ ఏమవుతుంది, n1 ప్లస్ n2 అంతే.
ప్లస్ అండ్ 2.
ఈజీ, సింప్లెస్ట్ లాజిక్ ఇది, ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు పెర్ఫామ్ చేసినప్పుడు. ఇప్పుడు మీరు చెప్పండి, ఎల్స్ ఇఫ్ ఓపీ ఈక్వల్ టు మైనస్ అయితే వాట్ విల్ బి n3?
N3 equals to N1 minus N2.
ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ ఎల్స్ ఇఫ్ ఇంకేంటి, ఓపీ ఈక్వల్ టు స్టార్ అనుకోండి, వాట్ విల్ బి ద వాల్యూ ఆఫ్ n3? N1
Equals to
N1 star
N1
into
N1 into N2.
else if OP equal to division, what will be the value of n3? N1.
N1 into
మీకు ఇది లైక్ కాంప్లెక్స్గా ఉండొచ్చు, బట్ ఐఎమ్ ట్రయింగ్ టు బిల్డ్ ద రియల్ వరల్డ్ అప్లికేషన్. నేను లైక్ మన క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ ఎలా ఉందో అలాగే రిప్లికేట్ చేస్తున్నా, సింపుల్ క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ కాదు ఇది. సో దట్స్ వై ఇట్స్ లుకింగ్ సో మచ్ ఆఫ్ కాంప్లెక్స్, బట్ లాజిక్స్ అర్థమైతే వెరీ ఈజీ. సో టిల్ నో అర్థమైంది అందరికీ. సో వాట్ దిస్ ఇఫ్ కండిషన్ చెక్స్, this if condition triggers whenever the user enters digits. Next, the else if condition eప్పుడు trigger అవుతుంది, when the user entered any of these operator buttons, and this else if will be triggered when the user entered is equal to button. Okay, and finally else what will be the else? The clear click just change చేయాలి మనం. We need to assign n1 n2 op అన్నింటికి ఏం అసైన్ చేయాలి, నేను క్లియర్ కొట్టాడు కాబట్టి ఎంటీ స్పేస్, నల్లైనా పెట్టచ్చు, ఎంటీ స్పేస్ అని పెట్టచ్చు. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు అర్థమైందా ఈ లాజిక్ అంతా? అర్థమైందా గెట్ వాల్యూస్ ది? నౌ మన మెయిన్ లాజిక్ ఒకటి మర్చిపోయాం. వాట్ ఈస్ ద మెయిన్ లాజిక్? ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు మనం ఏం డిస్ప్లే చేద్దామంటే ఇక్కడ ఈ రిజల్ట్ వాల్యూలో నేను ఏం డిస్ప్లే చేయాలి, ఐ మీన్ ఈ రిజల్ట్ ట్యాగ్లో what is the value that you need to display here instead of result?
N3.
Let's keep an yeah, so that's why I'll give it an id as result. Okay na, and result ikkada undalani cheptanu. So whenever the user clicks this is equal to button, nenu em cheyali, I need to update the content from javascript, right? javascript lo naaku value undi, dan deentlo pettali, html lo pettali, right? So that's why is equal to akkada here, right? So after else if, so what I need to do, document dot query selector, so result kada id name, so hash result dot inner text will be ఏముంటుంది, n3 కింద అప్డేట్ చేస్తాం అంతే. క్లియరా? document dot query selector hash result dot inner text will be updated to n3. So let's check. I'm not sure ఇది వర్క్ అవుతుంది అనుకోవట్లేదు, బట్ లెట్స్ గివ్ ఇట్ ఎ ట్రై. ఇనిషియల్లీ ఓపీ ఈక్వల్ టు నల్ అని తీసుకుంటా. లెట్స్ చెక్. 1 plus 2 is equal to, oh my god, it worked. So what is the result that I got? Guys, अरे नाकू फर्स्ट टाइम मेरा. Nice. Okay, let's do one more time. So 1 plus 7 is equal to ఏమొచ్చింది, వస్తుందా సరిగ్గానే?
నో అన్నయ్య,
వీడియో కొంచెం లాగ్ లో ఉంది.
1 plus 7 ఈక్వల్ టు ఎంత, ఇటే కదా? ఓకే డిలే అవుతుందా? ఓ మై గాడ్, అరే సారీ, ఏమనుకో, నేనేం చేయలేదు, మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ ఇష్యూ. ఓకే సో అయిపోయిందా అందరికి డిలే? సో నో ఇస్ ఇట్ వర్కింగ్ ఆర్ నాట్? properly?
Yes.
It is working.
Yes, Ananya.
So 1 plus 7 is equal to 8, right? So, but we still have one more thing pending. So there is one more tag here. What is this thing? User entered input column. So this is where we need to display what the user has entered. So ఏమని enter చేయాలి 1 plus 7 is equal to ఇక్కడ display చేయాలి. So now let's do this thing. Okay. So now so ఇది ఎప్పుడు చేంజ్ అవుతుండాలి? This above user entered HTML. ఇది అర్థమైందా? Do you guys open your calculator? ఫోన్ లో చెప్తానా? మీరు 1 plus 1 కొట్టాలి. 2 HTML 2 లైన్స్ ఉంటాయి. మీరు ఎంటర్ చేసిన లైన్ దాన్ని అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది చూస్తుంది. ఇలా ఉంటుంది రిజల్ట్ దగ్గర ఏమొస్తుంది again ఉంటుంది క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ ఎస్ ఆర్ నో. గైస్ క్లియరా? ఇలాగనే ఉంటుంది కదా క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ 1 plus 2 is equals to 3. సో మనకి 3 బాగానే వస్తుంది బట్ 1 plus 2 అప్డేట్ చేయాలి కదా. సో హౌ వీ కెన్ డూ ఇట్? సో మన యూజర్ ఏ బటన్ ఎంటర్ చేసినా ఏం చేంజ్ అవ్వాలి? ఇక్కడ ఇది చేంజ్ అవ్వాలి కదా. సో అంటే ఏ లాజిక్లోకి రావాలి? ఇఫ్లోకా ఎల్స్లోకా? ఐ మీన్ ఇఫా ఎల్సా? ఇఫ్లోకి రావాలి అంతే కదా. ఓకే. సో వాట్ ఐ విల్ డూ ఇస్ ఇక్కడ నేను ఏం డిస్ప్లే చేయాలి? డాక్యుమెంట్. ఓకే ఇక్కడ ఒక ఇది పెట్టాలి కదా, దీనికి ఒక ఐడి పెట్టాలి మర్చిపోయి. సో డాక్యుమెంట్ డాట్ వెరీ సెలెక్టర్ ఐడి పేరేంటి? యూజర్ ఇన్పుట్ dot inner text will be n1 plus 4p plus n2. Intana? Let's see. Okay, looks like it's not working. Whenever the user enters one should be displayed over here, right? Okay, it's working but not properly. Okay, let's do this thing. Let's refresh again. 1 plus 7 equals to 8. So this is working, but the above statement is not working properly. Okay, let's do this thing. Okay, okay. I'm doing it in the else if part. Okay, that's the issue. Now it will work, I guess. 1 null undefined. Okay. సో ఏం చేద్దామంటే ఓకే లెట్స్ డూ దిస్ వే. సో యూజర్ అనేవాడు ఎంటర్ చేసిన తర్వాత నేను ఏం చేస్తా? డాక్యుమెంట్ ఏ వాల్యూని అప్డేట్ చేయాలి? క్వెరీ యూజర్ ఇన్పుట్ డాట్ ఇన్నర్ టెక్స్ట్ విల్ బి 1. ఇంక్రిమెంట్ చేయాలి కదా, సో ఐ మీన్ డిపెండ్ చేయాలి కదా. సో లెట్స్ డూ. ఓ మై గాడ్ ఏమవుతుంది ఇక్కడ? ఓకే ఇనిషియల్లీ 1 plus 2 తీసేద్దాం, నల్ ఉండాలి కదా. ఓకే లెట్స్ చెక్. 1 plus 7 equal to 8. సో ఆల్మోస్ట్ అయిపోయింది, నో ప్రాబ్లం. ఓకే హియర్ we are done. Let's check. 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. There you go. Okay. That's it, guys. How we have done the project. Okay. Still, it has so many bugs. I know. 9 plus 1 equals. Guys, are you seeing the screen?
Yes.
1 plus 2, 9 plus 1 will be 10. Okay, let's clear. 1 plus 3 equals to 4. Right? So there is still so many bugs for this code. So for the first bug will be we can't enter multiple values. So 1, 11 plus 7 equals, it still returns only 11 plus 7 will be 18, right? So there is a small logic we missed. So but due to the time constraints, 1 plus, it will work for single digits. Okay, 1 plus 7 will be 8. Okay, so this is just the basic one. I hope you understand, everyone, right?
Yes.
Yes, Anaya.
Yeah.
Right. So I will share this updated code, okay? And code, I will share the code in a GitHub repository. You can read it yourself, okay? So ఏం చేస్తారు అంటే simply what you can do is simply fork my project, okay na? So if you want to do it from scratch, you can do it from scratch. Else you can directly simply fork my project. But I highly recommend you to type from scratch. Direct గా copy paste చేసేయద్దు, okay na? Do it from the starting onwards. It would be super useful for you.